Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Matt Madness Wrestling Podcast. I'm Ron Pashery, columnist for TJRWrestling.net. Here with my good friend Alo, Aaron Lloyd, the European champion. And I'm here with the reigning, defending, Mr. Sexy Punta Cana, CK and Joe Rottermill.
Drink it in, baby. Drink it in.
From 4 years ago.
Just drink it in. The thing is, I never lost, so I'm still the reigning, defending champion.
Nobody's been able to unseat him since.
Doesn't matter what I do?
I guess when we get back there. Well, Ron, are you going to break the news or should I?
You can break the news.
Okay, well, this is breaking news, by the way.
Okay.
Breaking news.
Eric Egg2 Fly Trimbicky has been suspended from Matt Madness for violating the alcohol and drug policy.
He did.
Yes.
Are we allowed to disclose what exactly he got popped for? Or
no, I don't want to bury him that bad.
I'm embarrassed. I'm disgraced.
I'm disgusted by him.
This is
well, so am I. He's tarnishing my legacy right here.
Yes, he is.
Egg2 Fly, come on, man. I don't know. How long is he suspended for? Have they said?
We have not said.
So we don't know how long.
He'll be back by Battleground, I think.
I think he was a little puffy too. I was gonna say something, but
really?
I don't want to stir that. I don't want to stir that pot.
I think all our fans in India and Pakistan are disappointed in him.
I think they are too. I don't know. You guys let us know if you're disappointed in Egg2 Fly, Eric Trembicki, for failing our wellness policy here on Matt Madness.
It's unacceptable.
And it's not even all that strict either.
No. It's kind of loose. It's kind of loose.
What did he get popped for?
We were not allowed to. We're not at liberty to disclose.
That information.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
It wasn't a Flintstone chewable though. We'll give him that.
I'm sure there will be some activity on the dirt sheets in the coming days as to what it could have been.
Yep.
Interesting episode of Raw this week. I guess 4th of July show. They know nobody's going to watch. Before we get to it, I wanted to just I don't know if either of you saw the video of Cena with the kid after the show last night. A kid named Isaac, who apparently he defeated. I think it was like bone marrow cancer or something. He was in the ring with Cena. Cena kind of put him over in front of the crowd. Anybody who doesn't like Cena, and I get the reasons why not to, and I get why people don't, but like those are the reasons why he has won me over.
Yeah. Because
he does so much good.
You're old softy, you.
Yeah, I can't help it. And it gives the kid a big hug at the end. I think he deserves credit for all that he does for those kids.
For the kids. But he'll bury the other wrestlers. Just so we're not.
Show open with a food fight.
So good.
It's entertaining.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, you like silliness.
I said I like silliness.
That was
I thought it was a little overboard, but there were a few things I really loved about it. One was when Bo was about to dump the punch bowl on Enzo's head, and Cass reached over and pulled it back and dumped it on Bo's head. I thought that was funny. Obviously, the arm wrestling match between Apollo and Cesaro.
Which continued the whole entire time.
And then what takes the cake, literally and figuratively, was everyone's favorite heel, Kevin Owens, hiding under the table for the entirety of the food fight.
With the potato chips.
Yeah, just sitting under there hanging out.
Boo, Lays, boo.
So you like that as an opening segment?
It's a holiday Raw. No, they're not good. It's not going to be good. So just throw something funny in there. Kevin Owens, he made it what it was.
Yeah, you enjoyed it, Joe?
Yeah, there were some good segments in there. There was good parts. I didn't mind seeing Heath Slater getting double chokes.
Yeah, it was funny. It was funny seeing Heathy baby take the fall for the food fight.
On the way out, after everyone's all done, messed up, Cass is walking out eating an actual piece of food, which I don't know why you do that to yourself, but that was entertaining.
Yeah.
Did you see Lana Britt character?
No, what did she do?
Why is she at a July 4th barbecue?
That's true. I don't know. Well, she
Celebrating America.
Yeah, she did start to come around on the American fans for a while there.
Well, they said Rusev was in there too, but I didn't see him.
He was there. She was sitting on his lap.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, that's why I couldn't see past the ravishing Russian.
Fair enough. Not a lot of story got advanced too much this week. Obviously, they knew nobody'd be watching. But the Shield triple threat, still on from everything that's been implied, everything that's been said.
Still burying Roman too.
It will still be Dean Ambrose defending his title against Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns.
Eventually.
Yeah, Ambrose has had 2 matches with The Miz in the last 2 shows.
2 matches. I thought the last show, Miz and Ambrose was good, and then also you had the Rollins match, which was a good solid match back to back almost.
Against HB Ziggler?
Yeah. HB Ziggler.
I'm gonna get to him in a minute because I do have something I want to say about Ziggler.
Oh, I can see it boiling up.
But so Ambrose, 2 matches with The Miz. Not sure. I mean, I know why they did it, but again, it's Ambrose defacing somebody's clothing is his the big hook for an Ambrose feud. But I guess they need somebody for him to work with. He can't keep working with Rollins all the way up.
No. I mean,
but
they did play that up a little bit too later on when he came in. They thought he was going to, start fighting in the ring, and he just went right out. And he was standing on the table, and they progressed that way, and they ended up, getting a little.
Yeah, I thought the match was good with Ambrose and Miz. I loved when they crossed paths going down the aisle, and then I loved him running back.
That was good.
And then going right to through the ring and then to commentary. I thought was great.
His Spanish is great.
Yeah, it is.
I still get scared when I see Rollins do the land when he's landing hard in his.
Me too. I think I will for a while.
No.
It's going to be a while, I think, before anybody's ready to see him do that. But Dean always good on commentary. Really good match with Rollins and Ziggler, and then obviously the confrontation at the end. Do you feel like this was a good step forward for their story?
No. No. First of all, Holiday Rolls always blow. They're never good. But they did really nothing because after the Ambrose and Miz match, I was like, okay, what now? We haven't had any segments for the world title yet. And then when Rollins came, I was like, okay, we're going to get something here. And then Ambrose just gave him the pound in the butt. Like there, go boy, go.
Yeah.
And he came back, and I thought maybe the Rollins match would have got canceled, and they would have started had a brawl. But then Ambrose, he did a great job on commentary, putting over Seth and Dolph Ziggler.
Mm-hmm.
The problem it's like I like Seth promo after the match.
Great.
It was a great promo, as he always is. He's always getting shit, always getting his heat back easily, and the fact that he's shooting on Roman. When it comes to the Shield triple threat at Battleground, I'm still kind of like. Through the long term, when you look back at it, you won't think about the build-up. In the long term, in the future,
it'll be all about the match.
It'll be all about the match. But right now, it's hurting the whole feud. Rollins is doing what he can because he's the legit heel in this situation. So he's doing all that he can to get the heat on Roman.
I mean, given the Eric Trubisky situation we're facing here, match, it's hard to properly build a triple threat match when 1/3 of the party's gone.
And that's the thing. Like WWE's point is the story's already there because of their history with the Shield. But in a situation, it's like, okay, what are you gonna do with Dean and Seth until you get the Battleground?
Yeah, I thought the promo was really good because you're right, he killed Roman again, and he's putting himself over. Still hammering home that I really never lost that title. Yeah. That's still mine. And then Ambrose gets the upper hand once again.
Now, on the table.
Yeah, now you guys both know that I do not have that much love for Dolph Ziggler.
Tell me more.
Again, warming up the band, wearing the SummerSlam tights, warming up the band, and now they even have to go so far as to just say every time he does a tribute to the Heartbreak Kid, which they should not be doing.
Well, maybe they heard your.
But all that being said, his backstage with Vicky Guerrero,
awesome.
When he said he didn't know who she was, never saw her before in his life, and then he gets on the phone with his mom and says, "Yeah, Mom, I lost again, but I tried real hard. It was really close."
I thought about you when I said that.
So that made me immediately think somebody must be watching our show because I say that every time we talk about Dolph Ziggler. I say I don't like the characters. Just I try so hard, and then he said it. I was like, maybe they are watching the show. I love that. That to me was my favorite thing Dolph Ziggler has done. This isn't the
first time we saw references to our show in these past couple tapings. We had. They used the shovel line.
AJ Styles mentioned the shovel again.
For a while. There's a couple.
Yeah.
There's at least two other ones I can't recall at this moment that I saw that I remember hearing on this show first.
Yeah, well, Cena and AJ is the next biggest story going on right now.
Good segue.
Cena calls out the club, basically. I loved AJ's... He continues to do his best microphone work in the company and maybe of his career, for all I know.
Pretty easy. I mean, it might be safe to say.
The character's been great. I loved, as soon as it doesn't go your way, it's unfair. I love that he said that.
That's why no one likes you.
He said, no one likes you. You have nobody on your side, which clearly was setting up that somebody was going to help him. But he brought up the shovel. You're going to get out the shovel and try to bury me. And also, one of the great recent catchphrases that seems to have really caught on in the internet wrestling community is beat up John Cena. It's a good day to beat up. Oh, it's a holiday. It's a good day to beat up John Cena. What are you going to do for Christmas?
I'm going to beat up John
Cena. Yeah, I'm going to buy presents for my kids and my hot Asian wife and beat up John Cena. What about Halloween? What did he say he was gonna? What did Gallows say he was gonna dress up as for Halloween?
Oh,
I forgot what he said.
I
It was
know.
a Christmas.
But he's going to beat up John Cena. I thought that was great. There was a lot of hashtags on Twitter today for people finding out ways to beat up John Cena. So I think the club doing some great work. AJ doing phenomenal work, as per his name. But Enzo and Cass come out to his defense after they did officially beat up John Cena. And now I believe it's official. It's going to be a 6-man tag at Battleground, correct?
Oh, God.
So how do you feel about this 6-man tag situation?
Not a fan of having Enzo and Cass run out there. I like to see them do a little more work on their own. I don't want to see them get pushed behind John Cena. And they had no reason to come out against the club. They didn't really set it up. I didn't appreciate it. I didn't like it. I was waiting for something a little better, but what am I going to do?
Yeah, not much you can do at this point. How about you?
Well, Cena's doing what he does best. He always has to align himself with the most overact on the roster all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Deal with Ryder. This is nothing new. But I was kind of glad Enzo and Cass did come out because they've been doing nothing for the last 2 weeks with the social outcasts. So I was like, okay, you're going to have these guys with social outcasts for Battleground? What are you going to do? And then AJ was saying, nobody wants to be with you. I did like that. But that whole beat up John Cena thing, I liked it, but it got kind of annoying after a while.
You thought so?
After a while, it kind
See,
of
I thought the repetition just made it keep getting funnier for me.
I was entertained by it.
What did you feel about Enzo's knowledge of presidents from start to finish?
That was awesome.
And what did you think about Enzo wearing the powdered wig after?
That was awesome too.
It fit too with the beard. It looked very presidential.
Yeah, it did. But like when it comes to the situation, AJ once again he's saying he has the club to make sure he stays afloat, but the club does nothing for him. The club didn't even help him win the No More Contenders match against the world title match. So it's like, okay, what are they there for? Because half the time you don't even see them together, unless he's like cutting a promo with John Cena. Other than that, you don't see them together at all.
I think that, well, it's obviously going to get put over that they're together now that they're in a 6-man tag. They're going to be doing everything together now for the next couple of
But when you
weeks.
try to get a faction over, you got to make sure that the leader is always together with the faction. Like, you never see Triple H without DX. You never see The Rock without the Nation. You never see Flair without the Horsemen. But the club, like, they do nothing for AJ. Like, they didn't help him win the world title. They did one thing right. They did one thing, but they couldn't help him do nothing else right. That's that. Like, they're horrible. They do nothing. They have not been good since coming to WWE.
Keep giving them the Magic Killer though.
That's the only thing they could do. Like, their matches, they've had like one good match since they've been up.
That's a shame because they're the talented tag team.
Yeah,
put them out in more tag team matches.
Yeah, like before Carl Anderson came, New Japan, their tapings on Access, they're like a year behind, 6 months behind. I saw him, I think, go one with Kota Ibushi. Anderson's a good worker, but they don't let him show it. I know Luke Gallows is great on the mic, but they don't let him show it because it's PG. He can't do the things he did in New Japan because all he does is curse the whole time.
It's kind of a shame to have a triple threat too. I think maybe if you separated into 2 separate matches, it'd be better than you're going to see the 6-man tag. I think.
What I do think is going to happen because I don't know if you saw, but advertised for the first live SmackDown, it's Cena and Styles. I don't know if it's going to be a dark match or whatever. I don't know how this going to go out. Since this 6-man tag is booked, I think that match and disqualification. And then I think Cena and Enzo and Cass, they win at Battleground. And then I'm starting to think that they'll need a rubber match.
SummerSlam.
At SummerSlam. I'm starting to think these two will get drafted to SmackDown. And I think that SummerSlam match will be for the World Heavyweight title.
I think that as well.
That'd be impressive.
That is what I think is going to happen. It makes a lot of sense to do
too much credit because every time it makes sense.
That just makes too much sense to me, personally.
I do think that's what they're going to do, though. I think it does make a lot of sense. They do have to put a world title on somebody if they're going to have one.
We know you're listening.
And who else is there to put it on? I mean, we don't know who's going to get drafted to SmackDown, but if those two are there, I can't imagine there's anybody bigger than those two.
Yeah, and this is the time that you make AJ Styles and they make him the World Heavyweight Champion.
I did like that AJ made reference to the club was going to be running this place. Like we have to get rid of you first, and then we're going to run the place.
Like he said, you got to see a little more of that. You got to see a little more of the behind the scenes kind of stuff. You got to build that up a little more.
Yeah, because the one thing they're doing, like they're trying to make John Cena super babyface in a situation, and they're trying to put the club over as a top heel act, which they haven't been doing. They've been doing it, but they haven't done it yet. So they're working towards that, and they're putting Enzo and Cass with him makes that team a complete baby face, and the fans are going to be behind Enzo and Cass and Cena.
Yeah, they were getting booed last night, which I thought was good. AJ in the club.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're drawing, I mean, everybody loves AJ. The fact that they're getting heat, I think, is a great sign.
Yeah,
He's doing quality heel work.
Yeah, and then the fact that you're going up against Enzo and Cass, that means you're going to be no doubt the heel, because Enzo and Cass is like the most over thing on the roster, the most entertaining thing on the roster, hands down. So the club taking them out is going to give them automatic heel heat.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you like to see Enzo do his mic work and stuff. You're not going to get that with him buried behind John Cena. John Cena is going to carry.
Well, I don't want Enzo anywhere near John Cena.
That's my point. I'm behind you with that.
He needs to stay far, no. Stay far away.
He was already in serious danger of being eclipsed by Cass.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Don't put Cena doesn't work Tuesdays right now.
Yeah.
So don't put him anywhere near Enzo, because Enzo's going to be awesome against the club.
Yeah, he's going to be great.
That's what I said. Maybe it should be 2 separate matches, which make it a little more entertaining from my standpoint. But that's just me.
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed at the idea of it being a 6-man tag. I thought they'd have a match at Battleground.
I did mention that last week because they've been putting over that it's a 3-on-1. So I was like, okay, he needs 2 guys. But I wouldn't think Enzo and Cass.
Well, that's what I believe that's what we said on the show too. Is who can even think of that would be on his side, and none of us thought of Enzo and Cass. Moving on to the women.
Yes.
Finally, you banks on it.
Yeah, my big complaints that I've had.
Again, listening to the show.
Is that, one, she has not had an opportunity to talk since she came back. She just showed up unannounced.
Came back since she's been on the roster.
Well, yeah. And she has not gotten to be the boss while she has been on the main roster. She got to do both this past episode.
She broke down the boss.
Yeah, she got to talk. I thought it was a great promo. She got to explain exactly who the boss is, what the boss is about.
As well, so I thought the cross
it was. I love that none of them were in ring gear, for one.
Yeah.
And I love that they actually had a back and forth with each other, as opposed to one person talks, then the other person comes out and talks, and then they have like a scuffle and it's over. I liked that it was an actual, and I liked that she cleaned house.
Charlotte was going over as the heel, and the boss was putting her down.
Yeah. Great crowd reaction from a crowd that was not that into it last night. I thought anyway.
I thought they're one of the better crowds we've gotten in the last few weeks.
Really? I thought they were seemed silent a lot. It almost sounded like a SmackDown crowd to me.
We don't know how those sound because it's always piped and shit.
That's what I mean. It sounded artificial to me for some reason. I don't know. Maybe I was on my own, but something about it just didn't sound right to me. It didn't sound like a Raw crowd to me.
Didn't sound too enthusiastic out there.
No.
They weren't popping.
John Cena even made mention of it. They sounded disappointed.
I hate when he does that hype man stuff. I hate it so much.
So
we're getting a little heavy on the John Cena talk. Are we gonna have to break the jar back out?
Well, that's the end of it for tonight.
Because I'll break the jar back out.
Maybe if I mention it again, we'll bring the jar back next week. Don't let me forget. So you also have had these complaints about Sasha Banks, how she's been portrayed. How did you feel about last night?
I had a couple nitpicks.
Couple nitpicks? All right, what were the nitpicks? First, what did you like?
Everything.
Okay, so what are the nitpicks?
Well, no, I'm talking about throughout the year I've had nitpicks.
Oh, I got you.
The women's division has not been good. It was good for one match.
Yeah.
It was good for like a small flash, and then it disappeared, and they kind of buried it behind these tag matches.
The first thing I have to say, I'm so glad that Lillian did not acknowledge Dana Brooke. She just said the women's champion Charlotte. She knows Dana Brooke is horrible. She doesn't need to be there. But this is the first time we've seen Sasha Banks be the boss. We've been saying on the show for almost 6 months now how who's the boss? We don't know who the boss is. Then Sasha gave her definition of the boss. We saw the stuff she would do at NXT to people. When she came out straight out to the ring, she buried Dana Brooke saying, "Get your pit bull away from me." Because Sasha's always insult everybody all the time. But Sasha was amazing last night. Charlotte was too. Charlotte was like, "You're the boss. I'm the real boss because I've been the champion almost since I've been here."
Cheers don't sell. Champions do.
Yeah, and that was great. And Sasha,
that was a great line.
That was great. And Sasha, we finally got that edge out of Sasha that we know. We got the attitude out of her, saying champions are the boss is this, the boss is that, and you can't get. I'm original. You can't get over with your daddy's gimmick.
Yeah, your daddy's '80s gimmick.
Your daddy's '80s gimmick. But I thought it was fantastic. Charlotte was real good too because she was still shooting because she's saying, "Sasha, you haven't done anything."
Yeah.
Since you've been here.
Yeah, where have you even been?
Yeah, exactly. Charlotte doesn't know either.
Yeah.
We have the same stuff all
And
the
that's
time.
good when you get a good promo between these two because you know you're going to get a solid match.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So the promo has to be just as well built up to hype that up. And
Yeah,
they
and
did a
it's
good job.
They really, I thought, advanced that a lot last night.
Mhm.
Also, I said this already. I just like that Charlotte got an opportunity to come back at her because too often is a Vince Russo thing. He says he doesn't like when wrestlers act like wrestlers. One person's talking and the other person's holding a microphone, holding it down and talking not into the microphone.
That's not
She got to come back.
And for some reason, Sasha just walks through the invisible wall all the time.
Yeah.
unlike everybody else.
Yeah.
That's not natural. You're not going to be sitting there and listening to someone ear beat you. You're going to be reactive.
Yeah, it was a great promo. Moved the story forward. Do you think they get a one-on-one match at Battleground, or do you think, like we speculated 2 weeks ago, that it was going to be a tag match?
Well, it's going to be a one-on-one because we got the Paige match last week, the tag with Paige. I like how Sasha remembered WrestleMania. That's the only thing people remember at WrestleMania, because WrestleMania basically means nothing.
It's gone
after the first night. But she actually acknowledged that if it wasn't for your dad, I'll be the women's champ right now, which is kind of true.
Yeah, you've never beat me.
Yeah, you never beat me. She made Becky submit. I do think we'll get a match at Battleground. And remember, I've been saying this for months now that I think Sasha, she hasn't been pinned yet on the WWE roster. I think that she's not leaving Battleground with the women's champion. Whether
It'll be Dana Brooke, I think, will cost her.
Yeah. Whether Charlotte beats her with heel tactics, or Dana Brooke gets Charlotte disqualified, or Charlotte gets herself disqualified, Sasha's not leaving with the title. But I do think she'll come very close to winning the title, but she'll get her moment at SummerSlam.
Yeah, SummerSlam is definitely where I would see that happening. It's kind of what they built that for.
Yeah, the other thing I liked was that Charlotte has been running away from her the last couple weeks, and she did not last.
Yeah, she just sends Dana like a little dog. Go.
Yeah, which is fine. That's what you're supposed to do. You send your person out in front of you to block you. Bray Wyatt does that. It's a good heel tactic. It was not, oh my God, Sasha's here, let me run out of the ring, which I liked. Becky got a win last night. Crowd popped for that. That was one of the loudest crowd reactions I heard.
For the rest of that match.
Yeah. She got a win. Well, they botched a suplex. Where Becky got dropped on her head. Luckily, she didn't get injured. She has a match with Natty, which has been announced, so we're going to get, you think it's going to probably be a pre-show?
It didn't say pre-show yet, but they have time to change that.
Yeah, you think most likely.
I assume it will be. I can't imagine they're going to do two women's matches on the main show, but I'd like it if they did.
Look, man, I don't care, because we're going to see the women's title change hands, and that's going to be a great moment.
One way or another,
Not this week.
Well, after we see the women's title change hands, we're going to beat up John Cena!
Thank you for that. I was hoping somebody would eventually do that at some point in the show. Tag team, what did you think of the Wyatts and the New Day?
Yeah.
Really?
It's good mic work and everything like that. It's good exchanges. But I don't know. I just can't get behind Strowman.
There are two things I think. I'll let you give your thoughts first, though.
That was the best Wyatt family promo in years.
You think so?
Yeah, because they went back to their roots of in the cabin and this and that, and having Bray Wyatt talking cabin. And then the thing with the New Day is the key to this whole feud is Xavier. A lot of people saying they don't like this, but Xavier's selling this whole thing that he is like legit afraid or in awe of Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family. Yeah, and Bray Wyatt, he wasn't redundant. So a lot of times he just like repeats himself all the time, but he wasn't that redundant last night. He was talking about how the power of positivity. What do you say? Reality.
It's not real compared to reality, which
Yeah.
I guess there's like a lot of hard truths in the world, basically.
Yeah, that's what he's trying to show the New Day. They have two different contradicting styles. So those styles. So this is the first time Woods is actually like, oh my God, we might like this. Like you can kind of compare this to the Ministry, but you really can't because it's PG.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean though. There's a parallel there.
It's like light versus dark. So in this situation, but Woods selling it, and he's saying the fact that he's just legit scared of the Wyatt family is selling this whole feud for me. I'm not sure they're probably going to play the role. I'm not sure if we're going to get a 6-man tag or the tag titles will be on the line. I'm not sure, but
most likely a 6-man tag. I would think that would be my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I would think that too at this point, but I'm not sure where they're going to go with Woods. I don't know if Woods is going to be positive again. I want to be shocked because all they do is make the New Day the Wyatt family lose all the time.
Yeah.
So.
My thoughts. So I love the promo on both sides of it. I thought the Wyatts were
the
great.
promo was great work.
I thought the New Day was great in their two different parts. Like, so the Wyatts challenged them to meet them at their compound. I like that Kofi and Big E both just no hesitation. Yeah, what do you say? We'll spread positivity all over that place.
It was positivity versus.
That sounds dirty.
That's
yeah. So Bray said at one point, I'm not sure if you guys, everything's fun and games to you guys, basically. I don't know if you guys want to be in a fight that's been going on since the beginning of time, which I loved. Because like you said, light versus dark. That, like, tale as old as time. Again, I'll bring up Lost. There, John Locke was trying to explain the game of backgammon, which that's what he said. He said light versus dark. It's a story that's been around forever. I also liked that, in contrast to them being so ready to go to that compound, Xavier put them over as scary. This is another thing I've been saying for months and months, is I want them to be scary. Because that's what they should be. They shouldn't just be cool. They shouldn't just be the guys who people turn the lights on their cell phone
and
for.
That's some freaky stuff when you just see him cutting it and then he's all upside down selling it.
Yeah.
Like, what the?
They're now legitimized as being scary. I like that we finally was given voice to what's been going on with Xavier Woods, because we've been speculating: is he mesmerized? Is Bray Wyatt winning him over?
Yeah, is he being
Is
attracted
he about
to
to?
the dark side?
But he's scared to death, and he's like, "You guys don't see what's happening here. If you guys don't understand what's happening here, the New Day may not survive." Which that's huge consequences right there.
I wonder how the match is going to end.
Well, I don't know.
I can see Woods and Bray Wyatt in the ring. Bray Wyatt do his upside down.
Yeah.
And Woods just freaks out.
Yeah, which would be awesome.
Yeah.
With his Sultan boots.
So on the negative side of this, which isn't really a huge negative, it's just something that popped into my head while I was watching. Have either of you seen the promo for the TNA final deletion that's happening?
I've heard. I don't want to watch it. It's a match from in their house.
It's at the Hardy compound.
House.
So it's the final battle between Jeff and Matt Hardy.
For the Hardy name?
Yes.
What is that? How does that even make sense?
It's TNA.
Well, yeah, I'm not trying to make sense of it. It's
a Matt Hardy original.
It got a lot of run in the wrestling circle. Like, apparently producers from TNA gave film out of this match to people within WWE, people in other wrestling companies within the industry, and got great responses because it's different. They filmed it, on location at this. It's outside, I believe. I think it takes place all over the place. In the commercial, there's one part where Jeff Hardy's jumping out of a tree into the ring. It's very different. And they filmed a vignette a few weeks ago, which I don't know if you saw, where they did the contract signing. And it was Matt playing the piano in his house. They did the contract signing by the ring at the house. They said, this is where it all began. This is where it'll end. And then ultimately Matt double crosses Jeff and puts him through a table. I almost feel like WWE is like, maybe we could do something like that too.
Kind of biting a little bit.
That was what I thought. Now, obviously, if you haven't seen all this stuff, you wouldn't think that.
I've heard about it, but I've had no desire to want to watch it. Is it good?
I don't know.
Hardy, so how?
It's different. And it, at the very least I can say is it at least has my attention.
Because I know the last time I'm not even just going to watch. Scroll past TNA. Matt was doing the Willow stuff.
Oh yeah.
That's Jeff's alter ego.
Yeah.
Enough TNA. Go on.
It also gets really well.
Yeah. My whole point about that was just that I felt like WWE was doing something that I'm seeing TNA do, and I'm like, is that what happened, or am I just reading too much into it?
You might be reading too much into it.
Just like they watch Ring of Honor.
But it could be possible. I don't think they would be that blatantly obvious, I would hope.
You never know.
You don't.
Because that was definitely what I thought about Seth Rollins.
Because we're talking about what makes sense. AJ and Cena fighting for when the SmackDown split. Next thing you know, we turn around. Sheamus is going to be the one with the title on the SmackDown, you know?
Well, so I said this last year when Seth Rollins was holding the two belts. Jay Lethal was holding their television championship for like almost a year, and he won the world title. He was holding both belts. And then, miraculously, 2 weeks later, Seth Rollins wins the U.S. title. Then, on their pay-per-view in August, I believe, or maybe it was July, Jay Lethal defended both belts in the same show. And then the next pay-per-view WWE had, Seth Rollins did the same thing.
I can't wait for the dirt sheet to come out.
So I'm curious if they saw this and they're like, huh, maybe we could do something like this. I don't know.
Compound.
Yeah. Yeah. But it'll be cool because it's something we have not seen. It'll be something different. And I like WWE trying something different, not just the same old things we always see.
So we're going to watch the New Day versus the Wyatts on a Titantron.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they try stuff different. The Asylum match, come on.
Gold! So the U.S. title, Rusev beats Titus O'Neil again. I thought there was a chance Titus might win it just because he came out dressed as Apollo Creed.
Yeah.
He wasn't.
He just needed some Living in America playing.
Yeah, I thought maybe. Yeah, I thought there was a chance he didn't win it. Another match. Hopefully that's the end of that.
I didn't think he'd win it, but I thought, I mean, the way they've been pushing Titus a little bit, that they'd give him a little more of a better match than that.
Well, a push doesn't technically mean you're going to win a title.
That's what I'm saying. I don't need it to be a winning title, but the match was kind of crappy too. They didn't really give him much. Just gave him a 2-hour accolade.
Yeah, it didn't do anything for me. Thought it was a bad way to open the actual show.
Well, it's a holiday Raw. It's not going to be good.
No, it just I thought maybe they'd give it to Titus just 4th of July. He's dressed in the All America gear, but that is kind of the whole Rusev
give Titus
thing.
A little more respect. Give him a
well,
little
hey, Team USA won.
Well, that was where I was going next. 16-man tag.
You don't need to go there.
Elimination tag.
Go away from that.
Well, I mean, the best part of this match for me is the promo from the international team when they're all arguing with each other pretty much. That's
Jericho anointed himself the leader.
It's like, who made you the leader? And then they're over here talking in Spanish.
Stupid idiot American.
Happy
Yeah.
Shut up! Happy Canadian Day.
I love Jericho's face when he walked away during that too. Just the frown, the sour face.
Him and Zayn arguing, walking down the ramp.
Yeah, it was a poor use of Zayn and Owens.
Yeah, that was the best part of the match for me. It's just
that builds nothing to that match.
The only thing was it's just one other case of them just being in each other's way.
Yeah.
So it's like another page to that story, but we've seen a lot of it.
In these matches, you just have too much going on to be entertained by one single thing. It's just too much.
Well, the American team was an embarrassment.
It was. Those guys represent America.
I mean, Jack Swagger.
Woo 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 though.
Yeah,
Woo,
Ryder. Big Show, Kane. Who else was it? Apollo.
They just.
There's one guy I think I'm forgetting.
Does it matter?
Big Show.
It doesn't, but
it doesn't matter.
The multinational team was almost an embarrassment of riches. With Jericho, Owens, Zayn, Del Rio. I could do with or without the Lucha Dragons. Sheamus, whatever.
Yeah, the Lucha Dragons don't really fit when you start naming some of those other names.
Well, I guess what was cool about that was half the team was heel, half the team was babyface, and that's what was their undoing, was that they couldn't work together. Cesaro.
Mm-hmm.
So they had some guys we like to watch on that team. It just didn't matter. It meant nothing.
No.
Zack Ryder goes over. And the Big Show. I'm almost getting sad watching the Big Show in the ring at this point.
Because watching that team, he gave that motivation speech. I was like, this is horrible.
It was terrible.
That didn't get you right here?
I'm the champion of Europe.
Oh, that's about it. I meant your heart.
He's multinational.
I'm multinational.
I meant your heart, not the belt, but he fell.
Yeah, drink it in, man.
Don't mind if I do.
Yeah, they not a great match, but the Big Show, you could tell it's starting to get almost to Andre the Giant levels where he can barely move.
Take him out back and put him to bed.
He just looks awful in there. I like the guy. I think he did a lot for wrestling. He was
they got stuff like Swerve for a guy like that now, though.
Yeah.
He loves that kind of stuff.
He can still contribute in his own way.
What is it, 16 guys? It's like, come on, you got to feel that somebody got filled with somebody that you don't do anything.
Yeah, it just was kind of boring. I didn't, and it was 22 minutes long. It was 2.5 segments. Didn't need to be that long.
I'll turn the channel.
But, like we said, it's the 4th of July Raw. Not a lot's going to happen. They know nobody's going to watch it. I didn't see what the numbers were. Bro, did you happen to see what the numbers were for last
I watched
night?
it. I watched it. You watched it. He watched it.
So a 3. A 0.3.
So they got at least 3 people.
A 0.3.
That's a hearty 3, all right? That's a hearty 3. Not a Jeff Hardy 3. A big 3.
Yeah, I told you guys earlier I didn't think there was a whole lot to talk about with Raw. I don't know if there's anything either one of you wants to add from Raw.
Did Vicky Guerrero look like Kurt Angle to you?
A little bit.
No.
I think it was Kurt Angle wearing a Vicky Guerrero mask.
He sounded just like Vicky too.
He did. He had the excuse me down pat.
Yeah, because I had Joey, get my chest protector.
I got you, Lilo.
Because I had to deliver the lowdown on Mike. You can't teach that day. 'Cause it's so cute how much of a mark he is for Kurt. Anything Kurt Angle.
It is adorable.
It's the cutest. It is the cutest thing, and I'm like, Mike. They're only saying that because he's a former general manager of SmackDown, and the fact that
patriotic.
He's an Olympic hero. That's the reason they're saying that. He ain't coming back.
Think he ever comes back?
I don't know. I know he said that him and Triple H had a meeting.
He really wants to, but I think WWE's so afraid that if he gets in one of their wrestling matches, he's going to end up paralyzing himself, and that would not be good for their image.
I think he could come back just strictly as a manager for American Alpha, and he'd be perfect.
It would fit.
He wouldn't even have to take a bump, and he'd be great.
Or he could do a Lesnar thing.
Yeah, come every once in a while. I just, there's nothing else I feel really need to add. But yeah, Michael J. Unfortunately, as much as I would have loved to have seen Kurt Angle there last night, it was not to be. Don't know if it will ever be.
I hate to have to be so heelish to him because I just have to destroy his little heart.
Yeah. You're pretty ruthless.
I am ruthless.
Ruthless aggression.
You have to read. I tell you, got to read those dirt sheets slowly. I keep telling you, I got to read them slowly because they're all lies.
I read a different kind of dirt sheet. Very slowly. You know what I mean?
Yeah. NXT. I think it was a good episode this week. Better than it's been for most of the last
there was some entertaining
couple months.
Entertaining setups, I should say. You saw Bliss getting over once again.
Yeah,
She's
I
starting to get a little more wrestling, background behind her right now, and that's always great.
I liked that match. I liked that both of them have gotten so much better over the last year.
I like the way they set up the tag division too. I mean, with that, obviously you got a huge match next week. I don't want to spoil anything yet. I guess we'll get to that in time.
Dirt sheets already writing that out.
Well, yeah. What I like about Alexa is, so I've talked a lot about the whole mean girl thing. You don't need everybody on the women's roster doesn't have to be a mean girl. She's just mean. She's not the stereotype mean girl, catty girl. She's just pissed off and hates everybody and just wants to get herself ahead. I love that she's always ready to just step on somebody when they're laying on the mat. She's ready to step on somebody's face, step on their stomach, step on their back. Mm-hmm. So she has become a good character, and she's become a good worker, a better worker in the ring.
Definitely.
Changed the name of the Sparkle Splash, finally.
Finally.
Twisted Bliss, it's a perfect name for it.
And you're starting to see a little more distance from Blake and Murphy, so
you're seeing her on her own
now. That's what I'm saying. You're seeing a little more her on her own now, so that's
perfect. Keep them far away from her. But she's one of my favorites, and I predict we'll see her coming up soon. And she'll be involved in that draft.
See, that was one of the things I was thinking watching that match. Is one of them going up and one of them staying down?
I think they'll both go.
Because I was almost getting the feeling, and obviously I could be wrong, I've been wrong many times before, I was getting the feeling that they were building her up to stay on the NXT roster. Make her... No, I thought they were building Alexa Bliss up to be more important to the women's roster in NXT. But she could be gone, in 11 days or 14 days, however many it is. I think she interrupted Bayley's interview. I thought that was great.
That was awesome. I love her facial expressions are always perfect. I think she studies a lot of Trish Stratus. Mm-hmm. Trish will make a lot of the same faces. So her facial expressions are always on point, and you could just tell she's in complete disgust.
Yeah. Yeah, she's perfect. I love that she even said how much fun she had beating up Carmella, and I'll take even that much more satisfaction in beating you. So that match is next week, I believe? Mm-hmm. Bayley and Alexa Bliss. I'm assuming this is going to be how Bayley wins number one contendership.
Well, that's not a number one contenders match, but...
Well, okay, I thought she was saying that she was the one that was going to get the next title shot, but maybe I read too much into that. The Cien got another match, does not seem to be getting over with the crowd.
Yeah.
Nah, I mean, he looks like he'd be fun, but I like to judge these kind of wrestlers when they get into real good matches, when they fight someone who is more entertaining instead of keep doing the same 4 or 5 gimmicks.
Yeah. They're
not doing it for you?
Those suspenders and the hat, no.
The goofy haircut.
I like when he runs across the ropes and just sits in the middle of the ropes.
Yeah,
Look
yeah.
at that.
I mean, like I said, that's just one of his gimmicks. It's
Yeah.
entertaining. But I want to see him get in a real match. I want to see.
Yeah,
him,
he can work.
I
It's
want to see him
just
fight some adversity.
I assume you're probably going to see it relatively quick. Like No Way Jose got to skate by for 3-4 matches, and then boom,
Now he's got the ire of Austin Aries, which is not a good place to be.
yeah. Who has the ire of me still because I have not gotten my apology. Austin Aries, once again, you may be the greatest man who ever lived, but you are not the perfect 20. That's me, and I will demand this apology until I get it.
And I'm sure he could agree with me because some of Austin Aries' best work was always heel work.
Oh,
And
awesome.
now that they have him full on heel, you'll get to see him at his best.
And after you get the apology, he's gonna beat John Cena.
How do you feel about him going to the old Jericho AJ storyline of he turned on No Way Jose because of the fans chanting for him?
Well, I just love the fact that he sold that dance so long.
He did a long time.
A long time. And not that just destroyed him. It was so perfect, but Aries has just built up frustration. He's shooting because in reality he's not getting the reactions in NXT that I
Yeah.
think he deserves. He kind of gets silenced. He gets cheers, but it's not like
you would expect.
it's not like you would expect.
Well, they didn't do him any favors by bringing in Nakamura right after he came in.
Yeah, that kind of took all the wind out of the sail.
Like,
Yeah.
whenever somebody's the new guy that they know, they get excited. They had him as the new guy, and then immediately another guy they like more came in. So he didn't get a chance to be the new guy for that long.
I just hope that he stays in NXT because I don't think Vince will do him any justice.
No, he does belong on the NXT roster, at least for a while.
Yeah, he could definitely contend for a title. Push that title a little further down. I mean, right now we got Smojo, so I'm content with that.
Yeah, so am I. Hype Bros, how'd you feel about their match with Ciampa and Gargano?
I like Ciampa and Gargano.
Yeah, exactly.
It was entertaining. It was a good match, but
I can't get behind Mojo.
I can't get behind
No.
the hype bros in general.
I don't like
Nah,
Mojo.
I mean, they're just there to fill a card, fill a roster
You
spot.
think Mojo comes up?
No.
But I did enjoy the.
I hope, for Zack Ryder's sake, well, you know what? It
For-
might
for
actually be
a tag
better
team?
for Zack Ryder if he comes up and they just get to be a tag team because then he may have something to do. Because Zack Ryder has grown on me a little bit over the last couple
He
months.
just needs a new gimmick.
Well,
He really doesn't need.
Well, I
needs to
think
be
he has all the
repackaged.
ability. I just looked at him like, this guy's corny. And then over time,
the
I
problem,
realized
yeah.
it's like, well, when he gets to talk, he can do it.
he got the Cena syndrome.
Yeah, he's a good worker in the ring, but he just never gets to progress. He never gets to develop into something. He's just kind of stuck being a guy. Oh yeah, we throw him on TV once every few
Throw him a
weeks.
bone every once in a
Yeah,
while.
well, Cena sucked
We'll give him a title for.
Cena sucked all the
We'll give him a title for a
the
night.
juice out of him with the Heath Torres stuff.
How long ago was that?
That was 2012.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't watching at that point.
Shame on you.
You brought up the
Shame
tag
on you.
division.
Yeah, that's where we got to. We were talking about that match, Gargano Ciampa, which set up American Alpha coming down to kind of confront them because they feel like they're making a lot of waves in the tag division, and Alpha wanted to shut that down. We're up next. You can fight us when we're done.
Yeah, well, they should have a rematch,
Yeah, they have it.
Yeah.
a rubber match, and Regal came out and announced they will have a rubber match. That's in 2 weeks. Did they? Oh no,
Next week
Next week.
next week.
Two out of
That's
three.
Two out of
falls,
three
2 out of 3,
falls. Should be a fun match.
should be a great match.
What did you think of the Revival's promo? I know
Horrible.
you.
Horrible.
Here's what I didn't mind about it.
Scott Dawson's better than Dash, but it's still not good.
Here's what I didn't mind about it. They were throwing around a little bit of wrestling lingo. Like they said, this is top guy stuff. I like that. They said something else. Oh, you guys are a couple of good hands. I like that they were throwing around like insider wrestling talk because it does not happen very often when you're watching anymore.
Definitely.
So I liked that they did that. It came across very condescending, which I liked. I think American Alpha is going to lose, though, right? Because they're probably going to come up.
I know spoilers.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
Oh, don't ruin it.
Yeah, I don't want to know yet. I do think that's going to be a great match, though. And then the Authors of Pain come out with yet another beatdown of American Alpha.
These guys are getting over in the crowd, let me tell you.
Yeah, we don't even know their names, and they're over like this. What?
I don't know what language the one guy was speaking in the ring.
So you, I know, are on record as you have not bought into these guys at all.
No, I'm not bought.
I know nothing about them.
They've done nothing for me.
No, they've just gotten to come out and be a wrecking crew.
The best part was when Jordan gave the one big guy a suplex. That was the best part of that for me.
And then he got destroyed by a clothesline, I believe. What do you think of what I assume is their finisher, the clothesline, side Russian leg sweep?
I don't. No.
So we're all in agreement. Those guys are not off to a great start.
Just wait till you watch NXT a couple weeks.
All right. I will.
Couple weeks.
couple weeks.
What did you think of Enzo and Cass's Sonic commercial last
was
night?
awesome.
Cup of potatoes.
That was the best plug they've ever had as far as commercial.
Well, those guys are great.
I mean, he can name all the presidents, but he can't figure out Sonic. I mean, stupid there.
Cup of potatoes. So, I guess the biggest story in NXT, Finn Balor, Shinsuke Nakamura, 2 weeks.
I fought Balor. I can't.
This is another situation where they're building up the story of them being friends in real life, about them having a lot of respect for each other. It's going to have to be an incredible match.
Oh, it should be. It's hard to believe that it wouldn't be.
Do you think NXT Match of the Year candidate?
Oh, yeah. I've heard good things about
Yeah, do you think, so you know about it. Do you think it's going to outdo Nakamura Sami Zayn from TakeOver Dallas?
I don't know, but Triple H raves about it. He's raved about that match from the tapings.
That's one of those things where that crowd is going to be going nuts.
Yeah.
Before the bell even starts.
I mean,
that Full Sail crowd has lost a lot of steam because when they go to Dallas and Brooklyn and wherever Dallas, Brooklyn, and was it Tokyo?
Mm-hmm.
Or London. When they went there, it was like, okay, those crowds they were all into it. But now those Full Sail crowds, they're not what they used to be.
No, well, they're getting overshadowed a little bit.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people in the wrestling community that just does not like that crowd. And I don't know, it's the same people that are there every week, every taping you would assume. So I don't know why they're losing steam, but it is noticeable.
Yeah.
It's not as bad as those tapings they did after TakeOver Dallas.
Oh, that was so bad.
Those crowds were terrible.
They were horrible. Did you hear about Nakamura went on with Murphy? They were chanting for Murphy.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
What? Why would you do that?
I did not hear that. No. I did. Oh, you know what? I don't know. Now I think I just was not even really paying attention, to be honest. So NXT should be good the next couple weeks. We have some big matches. I'm looking forward to it. I assume the next 2 episodes of NXT are going to be better than last night's episode of Raw.
This show's better
Well,
than last night's Raw.
Yeah.
From the booking that we have so far, I would say so.
I would say so as well. So, with NXT on the brain, their Cruiserweight Classic is coming up next week. So, we decided to do our own Cruiserweight Classic, where we picked 16 of the greatest cruiserweights of all time. There are a few notable exceptions. Alo refused to take part in this if Jeff Hardy was included. Because in his mind, he remembers Jeff Hardy constantly costing the Hardy Boys every match they were in.
Jeff was a light heavyweight champion for 2 weeks.
I refused to do this if Taka Michinoku was involved, solely because of my hatred for the Michinoku driver.
And Eric's not here per suspension because Gilbert's not here.
The biggest Goldberg mark on the panel.
Gilbert.
Did not want Gilbert involved. So, we'll move on to the matches. We'll do this much like we did the March Mania.
Well,
everybody gets a vote.
Well, what are your thoughts on the current Cruiserweight Classic that's going to happen next week?
So, I really don't know, because I don't know who half of these guys are. I don't know if somebody's going to win it who they have already in the development system. I don't know if it's going to be somebody new is going to win it. I don't know if whoever wins it is now going to be on the roster.
It'd be interesting to find out. I think it's going to be very entertaining, though, if they do it right now. I believe that they have the right wrestlers lined up that they could put on a quality match.
I think they're all going to be great matches, and I think it's going to be... This is an IWC dream come true to see all these matches. Mm-hmm. How many... Is it all filmed already? Is some of it filmed?
I know they started tapings, so I'm not sure if the whole thing is filmed yet. But I know a few of these guys. I'm familiar with Zack Sabre Jr. Tajiri's in it. I don't know if you saw that.
Really?
Yeah. Brian Kendrick.
That's awesome.
Cedric Alexander. I think he was a TNA guy. I think.
It looks like from the previews that Ciampa's in it too.
Yeah, Gargano and Ciampa are in it. I said Zack Sabre Jr. Kota Ibushi's in it. These India guys called the Bollywood Boys. I've heard they're real good, and Tony Nese is in it too. When you guys went to House of Hardcore,
he was great.
Yeah, but I think in the final, since Zack Sabre Jr. is dubbed as the best technical wrestler in the world by most people.
Yeah, I would assume he's going to make a big dent in this tournament.
I think Rich Swann's in this too, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I think the two probably best workers in this tournament are Ibushi and Zack Sabre Jr. So I think those two will be in the final. I think Ibushi wins because they've been showing Ibushi a lot on WWE TV.
They've also just really broken into Asia not too long ago, so it really helps.
Yeah, it'd be a great way to break.
Yeah, with that market.
Yeah, and I hope a lot of these guys get signed too, because I'm not sure what Zack Sabre's status is better than with WWE.
Well, there's probably going to be a lot of space.
Yeah,
for new blood.
If you want to kill, because you got, I don't think we'll get a bunch of NXT call-ups for the brand split. I think maybe you might get 5 at the most, but this is a big opportunity for a lot of these guys. You can see them on TV.
Yeah, I think it's going to be huge for all these guys. I think it's going to give a lot of buzz to the WWE network. I think a lot of people who have been highly critical of WWE over the past few years, it's like throwing those people a bone. The people who probably hate WWE the most are the people who will love this tournament the most. Mm-hmm. So I think it probably gets some people on their side.
Yeah, like you said, they cater to all the audiences.
Yeah, I'm tried to make that point a few months ago.
A little more to everyone, yeah.
Yeah, Raw. Somebody like Vince Russo sees Raw as the be-all, end-all of WWE. It's very important. I mean, it's their weekly show. It's the biggest thing they do. But they're not dependent solely on Raw ratings. They're doing so many other things to try to develop a following in so many different avenues. And this is just another one. People who specifically like Ring of Honor. People who specifically like New Japan or whatever. This is getting those people on board with something. There's probably a lot of people that will subscribe to the network solely to watch this tournament.
And the fact that they have different countries too. They put their hand in different countries to get the interest out of from different people.
Yeah, it's huge for them, and it's huge for all these individual wrestlers too. And I am a big Rich Swann fan, by the way, so I'm glad that he's going to be in it. So yeah, I don't know who's going to win it.
Get at me, Swan.
It makes sense though that Zack Sabre Jr. is probably the guy whose name I've heard the most. Outside of the guys I really know. I've never seen a Zack Sabre Jr. match, but I've heard that he's incredible.
I saw him and Kurt Angle go one-on-one.
Really?
Yeah, I heard that was. That
sounded very interesting.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to getting introduced to all these guys that you hear about, and unless you're watching these smaller promotions you never see, I don't have time to watch them, so it'll be nice to be introduced to a bunch of new talent.
And they have the two best people to call it. They got Daniel Bryan and Morrow.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. Well, they're doing a bracketology.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Tomorrow night, right?
Yeah.
Looking forward to see that, too. So I'm guessing is it just an announcing of the brackets? I'm guessing.
I'm sure.
They'll probably break it down a little bit, too.
I'm sure they'll show, like video highlights of everybody else.
Yeah, kind of build it in a way.
Yeah, that's going to be fun, too.
You think Daniel Bryan's going to talk about bears?
If he doesn't, he should.
Are you disappointed?
Are you going to talk about bears? We got confirmation.
We'll be talking about bears. So without any further ado, we're going to get right into the Matt Madness Cruiserweight Classic. We did not make a big board like we did before, but we will all have a vote. Whoever wins gets 2 votes, advances.
Yeah, and this is out of this. We got these guys from the list of former light heavyweight and cruiserweight champions, because after a while, this list was a little difficult to come up with because cruiserweights weren't recognized after 2007.
Yeah.
So we just went through some people we thought were the top cruiserweights in this time.
Yeah, this is similar to how we did the March Mania bracket. A lot of it was based on titles, longevity.
Jeff Hardy in on there.
2 weeks.
He hates Jeff Hardy.
I know.
He refused to take part.
I was being a jerk.
So, first matchup right off the bat. We have Rey Mysterio Jr. facing off with Elix Skipper. Aaron, who do you got?
Well, you got Rey Mysterio going against a fact you probably remember it because it only lasted 2 weeks. It was only a thing for 2 weeks. The first ever cruiserweight tag team champion, like Elix Skipper.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they had cruiserweight tag title before they died. But I'm going Rey Mysterio.
Joe?
I can't say I know too much about Elix Skipper. I have seen him.
He's awesome.
I have seen him. I was just looking into him a little more. But I mean, just off the fact that how much I know about him, I have to go Rey Mysterio.
I stay in the 619 on this one as well. I don't know if you could go any other way. Next up, Juventud Guerrera versus Gregory Helms. Joe?
That's kind of tough. I mean, Juventud was probably a better wrestler, but I was always a big fan of Gregory Helms. I loved his gimmick, and I thought he was a great wrestler. Fuck it, I'll go Helms.
How about you?
Well, Hoovy against the longest reigning cruiserweight champion of all time. I like Gregory Helms to an extent. There was points I didn't like him. I'm gonna go with Hoovy.
Hoovy? So, all right, that's two that I didn't even have to make bet on, but I would have gone that way anyway.
You go with Hoovy?
Yeah. So that's two clean sweeps right off the bat. Billy Kidman and Chavo Guerrero.
Mr. Torrie Wilson himself.
Yeah, I'll go Billy.
Billy? I would have gone that way as well. Mr. Torrie Wilson, he deserved to advance just for that.
This is a tough one.
Brian Pillman.
The first cruiserweight champion.
Against Eddie Guerrero. Joe?
Flying Brian versus Eddie, who lies and cheats and steals. I think he'd cheat his way to a win. I'm going to go Eddie.
Eddie.
All right, I go Eddie as well. Moving on to the right side of the bracket. The man of 1,000 holds, Dean Malenko, against Jamie Noble.
Jamie Noble, boy.
I'd love to go Jamie Noble. I love Jamie Noble as a wrestler, and I thought he was underused, but I can't go past Diamond Dean. Wow. I have to go Malenko.
For J&J security alone, I'm going Jamie Noble.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
I know nobody probably expected him to make it out, but I knew if I had a chance, I was pushing him through.
You're going Jamie.
I gotta go with the ladies' man himself, Dean Malenko. The man who wears
I thought you picked Jamie Noble.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it sounded like you did too.
Oh,
It sounded like you did.
It was Dean and everything.
Man, you swerved me, Russo.
He swerved the hell out of you.
I was doing my Jamie Noble impression. Yeah, boy.
Ooh.
Jamie Noble, boy.
Yeah, you swerved me there.
Yeah,
All right,
I'm
so
going with the socks in bed himself, Dean Malenko.
You thought you got it.
all right,
Nice win.
I did. I was so excited about that.
I'm pumped. I want to
So we
Dean
have
versus Eddie.
we have X-Pac and Ultimo Dragon. Aaron, who you going with?
X-Pac's the first man to hold both light heavyweight and cruiserweight champions simultaneously. I wasn't in the WCW during Ultimo Dragon's time. I saw him in WWE that didn't last long at all. So I'm going to go with X-Pac.
Nice.
Joe?
Man, I'm going to make it a little diverse. I'm going to go Ultimo. I'm going to put it on your shoulders.
Oh.
All right, that's fine. I can't go against DX or the Click, so X-Pac it is.
Or Delaware County.
Yeah, or Delaware County.
Miles
Yeah,
away.
he lives not too far. He may be a guest on the show not too long from now.
Anytime, X.
Next matchup. I give you the gift of Jericho. Drink it in, man. Chris Jericho. Aaron. Or Matt Hardy.
Version 1.
Yeah.
The one before he was all puffy.
Well, I'm going to go with the Sensei of Mattitude.
Matt
Matt Hardy version 1.
Whoa!
I can never get behind Matt Hardy, and plus, I think Jericho is one of the best wrestlers of our time, so I'm going Chris.
You didn't like Matt Hardy version 1?
I never
That
got
was
behind
awesome.
I never got behind Matt Hardy any version.
Matt Vax?
You knew where I was. There was no way I was not going with Y2J. I have to keep giving the gift of Jericho
You know it's Jericho.
as often as I can. Next up, Tajiri against Jushin Thunder Liger.
I'm going to go with Jushin Thunder Liger, the Undertaker.
I'll go to Tajiri. He's gonna spit some of that stuff in his face. And, it's all downhill from there.
I think solely because Tajiri is in this tournament now, I'm going to go with Tajiri as well. Also because I know I'm not picking against Jericho in the next round anyway, no matter who it is. So back up to the top left. Rey Mysterio Jr. against Juventud Guerrera. Joe?
I'm gonna go. This could be an actual amazing match to watch. Let's go Rey Mysterio Jr. 619, baby.
Yeah, how about you, Aaron?
Mysterio.
Rey Mysterio gets through again. Would have been a clean sweep. Bottom left, we have Billy Kidman once again against Eddie Guerrero.
Can you go first, Joe? I might even go last.
Yeah, I'll go. I'll jump right in there. Probably gonna go Guerrero. I'm gonna say Guerrero.
Aaron, you want me to go or you want
Yes,
to go?
please go.
Eddie Guerrero.
Okay, it didn't matter.
Very torn on that one, huh?
I love Billy Kidman.
So do I.
I like him a lot, too.
Billy Kidman was awesome. Yeah.
So, back in that time, I was solely, Jericho was the only thing I liked about WCW. And slowly, Billy Kidman, when I'd see him, was growing on me. So, I was a big Billy Kidman fan as well, but can't go against Eddie.
I mean, his Tommy Hilfiger shorts.
Yeah. Yeah. The Man of 1,000 Holds, Dean Malenko, against X-Pac.
Mr. Socks and Bear, Dean Malenko.
Definitely Diamond Dean.
All right, I would have gone X-Pac once again, but Dean, he made it through.
Sorry, Pac.
All right, Y2J, Chris Jericho, the best in the world at what he does, against Tajiri.
Matt Hardy version 1.
He's not in it anymore, stupid.
How about you, Joe?
I'll go Chris Jericho.
All right.
Y2J.
And I would have gone Y2J as well.
Clean sweep.
So we're down to the final four in the Matt Madness Cruiserweight Classic. Rey Mysterio against one Eddie Guerrero.
Halloween Havoc 97, all over.
One of the greatest matches in the last 20 years, probably.
It's coming up on 20 years.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Ray.
Whoa. Whoa.
I think that Eddie's going to find a way to get one over on Ray, because that's what he does. So I'm going to Eddie Guerrero.
So, one of these two, I really tried to push through in the March Mania bracket.
Rubber Reigns in on this.
In honor... because we couldn't get Sasha Banks through herself past Ric Flair.
Well, you put her against Ric Flair.
I know where he's going.
So I got to go Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah, what you should have done is put Roman Reigns versus Sasha Banks.
It's a fair fight.
So now, the final contestant in the championship round.
Tough match right here.
The Man of 1,000 Holds, Dean Malenko, or the Man of 1,004 Holds, Chris Jericho?
I think he fought Dean in the Apple. The Apple was
Is
the
there?
Apple.
Do either of you specifically want to go last in this one?
It's Dean and Jericho, right?
Don't sound so defeated.
We know where Patch is going.
Because I'm going through Cruiserweight history. Because, like, we all know Jericho will be better than Dean because Dean Malenko couldn't talk. So, for Cruiserweight longevity, I'll go Dean Malenko.
Woo-hoo.
I'm going to put it on your shoulders, Ron. Y2J.
Y2J it is.
Yeah.
Stupid idiots.
It's a hell of a final.
So now I don't know what I'm going to do.
This is interesting.
Well, I think I know what you're going to do.
We have Eddie Guerrero against Chris Jericho facing off to be the first ever, the inaugural Matt Madness Cruiserweight Classic champion.
I'll go Eddie Guerrero.
Ooh.
You lie, you cheat, you steal.
So wait, Eddie Guerrero just won?
Eddie Guerrero just won.
Who would you have picked, Ron?
I don't know. I'm glad I never have to find out.
Let's pretend.
No, you gotta say.
Let's
who
pretend
you
I
picked.
swerved you for a minute.
No, yeah.
Y2J.
Why we gotta know?
I probably would have picked Eddie.
You couldn't go against your
So the
teacher.
winner
No.
of the first ever
He's
Matt
been
Madness
going
Cruiserweight
against
Classic, Matt Hardy version 1.
So Eddie, clean sweep. Eddie Guerrero, clean sweep. Laugh will be happy.
Woo!
Eddie-
Laugh.
Yeah, Laugh who hated my bracket will like this.
Yeah, Eddie Guerrero pulls it out in the end.
Sasha and Laugh will be thrilled.
Yeah.
You might
And
get
that makes me really happy
some.
as
You might
well.
get some.
Yeah. So that's the
Laugh
first.
is married.
That's the first ever. The first ever Matt Madness
Never
Cruiserweight
stopped him
Classic. We'll probably post a filled out version of this bracket on our Facebook page either tomorrow or the next day. So, stay tuned tomorrow on the WWE Network for the Cruiserweight Classic bracketology. Be ready for, it's not quite the last, second to last ever taped Thursday Night SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
That era is almost over.
More wrestling. Joy.
Yeah. That's gonna double the length of our show, probably almost.
Geez.
Eric's pissed.
I'm sure he is. It's gonna be a lot to take on. That's my one concern with this. As much as it's gonna be like fun to have a live show,
More entertaining, but
it's gonna be a lot on a weekend with a pay-per-view, especially a weekend like SummerSlam weekend, where you have an NXT takeover on Saturday, 2.5 hours, a 3.5, maybe sometimes 4-hour rest SummerSlam on Sunday, 3-hour Raw on Monday, 2 hours of SmackDown on Tuesday, and if you watch NXT live, that's another hour on Wednesday. That is a lot.
you're trying to make me cry.
I wasn't trying to,
You're
but
getting there.
well, all right, I'll stop talking about it.
Thanks.
So, thank you to anybody who listened to our show this week. I don't think we have anything else to discuss, really.
Well, I had a listener question.
Okay, what was the question?
All right, this comes from Die Rocky Die Joe Lapp.
Okay.
He was very inspired by your first ever unsanctioned episode of Matt Madness with Derek.
Okay, well, I tell Joey I appreciate that.
Which is available right now on iTunes and Podbean.
It is.
And YouTube.
Thank you, Derek McCauley, for being the first guest.
D-Mac. Thank you, D-Mac.
D-Mac did a great job.
D-Mac.
Good job.
I added him on Facebook.
Who actually, I wish I could remember, he posted on Facebook, he just started writing for a wrestling website. He wrote his first article today.
I saw it's about the Cruiserweight Classic.
Yes. So, congratulations on that.
Congratulations, D-Mac.
Maybe post this on the Facebook page. Anybody who wants to read it can, but go ahead with the question.
Well, he was inspired by your conversation with him, and he wants to know, what are your top 4 heels?
Top 4 heels of all time.
Question, Joey Lapp. I recognize.
It's going to be take 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes.
Randy the Macho Man Savage is probably my number 1. Ric Flair would probably be my number 2. I loved heel HBK.
Awesome.
So that's my number 3. And number 4, who do I go with? I think I might go with Hunter because he's probably the best heel they've had in the last 20 years.
For 6 months.
Yeah.
Joey?
That's tough. Like I said, I'd have to take like 27 minutes to think about that.
Hey, look, I'm so happy.
I don't know. I mean, this is just me being nostalgic. And probably won't get a lot of agreements here, but I used to love Rick the Model Martel back
Great
in the
heel.
day. That was some good work when you sprayed the people with the big bottle of cologne.
Oh, yeah.
That's just the nostalgia.
Blinded Jake the Snake Roberts,
Yeah,
right?
That's a nostalgia thing for me. Then obviously Jake the Snake Roberts. 2 old school era guys that were amazing heels. Triple H, new era kind of guy is great. Where else would I go here? Well, right now, because I'm kind of loving the work he's doing, and I loved him in TNA, I'm gonna go Samoa Joe.
No, anotard good one.
Whoa!
Well, this is hard for me because I have to name 4. It's not
Interesting.
Well, I already know one.
I had to
One
name
you
4.
can
It
knock
took,
right
like-
off the list.
all right, well, I'll start with Ric Flair
Okay.
because he could easily be the most hated man in the world. I'm going to go with Hot Rod.
Good one as well.
Oh,
Not you.
me. Okay.
You're not in Pudacana no more.
I am right here.
Very popular in Mexico.
I'm going to go Eddie Guerrero.
Okay, another
There you
good
go.
one.
Yeah.
And, of course, Hunter.
I was going to say, let's end the suspense. Of course, Triple H.
Yeah, I can't forget Punk. Punk is awesome.
He was a great heel.
amazing.
Do we have any
Too
more
many.
listener questions, or was that all we had this week?
That's all we had this week.
I got one question.
Okay, what's that?
It's my question. So with NXT, any champion or past or present is eventually going to get demoted. So
Yes.
we're eventually looking at possibly Bayley moving up. How would you like to see her break into WWE? What kind of match or what kind of feud? How would you like to see her come up and be used and utilized properly?
What I wouldn't hate,
Properly.
because there's so many ways they could go with it, I'm just going to keep it really simple. I know this isn't going to happen, but I wouldn't mind it if it did, is if at Battleground, Sasha is playing the numbers game against Dana and Charlotte, and Bayley evens the odds. Or maybe it's SummerSlam that happens. That's how I would like to see it. I think it's simple. They have a history. They have a respect for each other. The last time you saw them together, they were hugging it out and crying together after the Iron Man match. So that's what I'd like to see. How about you, Aaron?
I was actually thinking about this today.
Really?
Yeah, I really was. Yeah. Because
I was in your head.
I thought about how I think Sasha's gonna get screwed or lose at Battleground. I don't think she'll leave with the women's title. So I was thinking, maybe Bayley, Becky will be doing Natty, and then Bayley will come up and get the Fatal 4-Way at SummerSlam. That's the first way. That's how she won the NXT Women's title. But I was like, okay, now Bayley's gonna be with Asuka at Brooklyn, so it doesn't make sense to have Bayley in an NXT Women's title match, then WWE Women's title match the next night. That wouldn't really make any sense.
Yeah.
So my thing is, whenever Sasha wins, I think what you can do is you can have Bayley come out when Sasha's done with Charlotte. But I still think you keep Charlotte real close to that situation. And
Definitely.
But the thing is, since Sasha's probably going to win at SummerSlam, you that's a long time to wait to WrestleMania because that's when they like to have their multi-person matches.
Yeah.
And I think that's when you get the Fatal 4-Ways at WrestleMania.
Yeah, it makes sense. How about you? How do you want to see Bayley break?
Well, I was thinking kind of the same avenue you were coming in, maybe helping Sasha win the title, then coming back later like, all right, I helped you, now you owe me this title shot.
Yeah.
And eventually, obviously, we go to, you want to keep Charlotte, like I said, great wrestler, like you were saying, keep her in the picture, and maybe down the road you'd have that big WrestleMania match.
The 4 Horsewomen.
Yeah, because they don't handle. If you're not going for the title, they don't handle you well at all. They're just
Right.
not learning how to build a secondary storyline.
Mm-hmm. I guess the other thing that would be good is we pretty much, I think we've discussed this before, that it's going to be almost impossible to have Sasha be a heel at this point. People like her too much. Maybe Bayley getting involved is the one way you could have her be the heel boss character again. So either way, I think she should be brought immediately into some type of storyline with Sasha Banks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's any other way you can or should do it.
Yeah, I agree.
That's a good question.
I had my moments.
I liked it.
Question, Joseph.
Anything that gets the boss brought back up without me having to bring it up, I appreciate. So, that is our show for tonight. Thank you for anyone listening in India and Pakistan. You can check us out on iTunes, Podbean, and YouTube and Facebook. Thank you to the Philippines as well. We've just started breaking in there.
Yeah.
Thank you again to Derek McCauley. Matt Madness Unsanctioned will be back again this Saturday with Jeff Seltzer, who I met at the Performance Center in Orlando. Yeah. For ALO, Aaron Lloyd, the European champion. For the reigning, defending, undisputed Mr. Sexy Punakana, CK Joe Rottermill.
Suspended X2 Fly, Eric
For the suspended X2 Fly, Eric Trembicki, I am Ron Pashery. We will see you next week.